Micheal Carrick has obviously been at Manchester United for only 5 games, but in those 5 games, we've had some good results. We've beaten Manchester City, we've beaten Arsenal, we've beaten Spurs, and we've beaten Fulham in those times. And I think in this video, I want to look at kind of reviewing his time at Manchester United so far, looking at the positives, the negatives, the formation, and the results, and kind of giving you an overview on what has been Micheal Carrick at Manchester United so far. So listen, we're going to get into it straight away. Listen, I think he's exceeded expectations. I think no one expected him to have the run in which he did. 5 games, no defeats in five, 4 wins and 1 draw. I don't think any United fan expected us to play in the way that we did as well. I think it has been quite transformative, and it's been quite positive seeing Manchester United play. We're playing with an element of freedom, control and confidence, and I think that's something that we never really saw under Ruben Amorim, if we're being honest. I think every game was nervous. And I think I seen a quote, I think it was from Ahmad, saying that they even went into the Europa League final not fearing that, not thinking that they were going to win. So I think there is an element of confidence back in this team, and that comes down to Micheal Carrick and down to his coaching staff. Now let's look at some of the results. Now obviously Manchester United played Man City in their first game. And listen, it was a very good performance. Yes, we didn't dominate possession. They had 68% of it. But you look at how we sort of controlled the game and stopped Manchester City from playing through the lines. A lot of the possession they did have was at their centre-backs, passing it sideways. They couldn't really get through that Manchester United team. And that comes down to the compact formation of Micheal Carrick. And we've seen it immediately. It was a clear 4-4-2 shape out of possession. In possession, it was a quick transitional break. We were finding Bruno Fernandes in the half spaces, and he was able to distribute the ball to the likes of Ahmad and Bumo and Dorgu down that side. And I think when we did counter-attack, we counter-attack with speed, aggression and quality. And I think that's where the first goal definitely come from. I think another positive is the defensive way in which he's kept us solid in both times at Manchester, in both games against Arsenal and Manchester City, defensively sound, and we didn't really, against City in particular, we looked very solid and compact, and I think that is down to Micheal Carrick. I think in that game it was always going to be difficult to judge what Carrick ball would be like, but we did see glimpses of it straight away. And I think, listen, we had more XG, more shots, 7 shots on target to Manchester City's 1, which is a quite eye-opening stat in my opinion, looking at it that way. And I think Carrick, that does come down to him and the way in which he controlled the game. So the first performance, I think what we learned was United were going to be very difficult to break down. It was very confident play from Manchester United. We took the game to Manchester City. There's a lot of aggression, energy and desire in that game, which is something that I don't think we've really seen. To get a clean sheet against Manchester City at home is quite impressive in the manner that we did it as well. City only had, as I said, 1 shot on target in that whole game. Then we had the second game, which again was Arsenal. That was an even trickier game. Manchester United were definitely not expected to win that game. And again, that was a different sort of approach. I think, again, United couldn't take the game to Arsenal, otherwise we just would have got split open. And I think we defended, we were very compact. And we actually had more, we actually had 1 less shot on target, but more big chances than Arsenal. Yes, they dominated possession a bit more, but again, United were compact, difficult to play against. And there were times in that game against Arsenal where Carrick did take the game to them, and he did. We did press them, and we did look like the better team in parts of that game. I think you look at the Dorgu goal in that time of the game, we were in possession of that, and we were in control. You look at after Arsenal scored, they looked nervous, they didn't know what to do, and that's where Manchester United got the goal from. I think in that game, that was a game more of United being able to compact, but taking the game to Arsenal when they could. I think more against City, we started off the game fearing that we could get the job done straight away. And I think against Arsenal, it was a much more difficult game. Again, yes, we were in that 4-4-2 shape as well. Bruno and Burma as the strikers. But it was a different sort of press. And I think it was a more organised and structured press. And again, I thought we defended well in that game. I know we conceded 2 goals. But you look at where the second goal was, it was from a set piece. And the first goal just comes from kind of a bit of an error from Martinez, focusing too much on Jurriën Timber rather than going for the ball. Then after that was obviously the Fulham game. The Fulham game again was very positive in itself. United showed a different sort of mentality in that game to fight back and get the job done. It was not easy. It was a very, very difficult game for Manchester United to be a part of. I think we controlled the game for large parts at that time. I think we were the better team in that. yes, we didn't have the majority of the possession, but we had 6 shots on target, 13 total shots. And again, as I said, it was large parts of it was control from Manchester United, particularly in that maybe first 75 minutes until Fulham actually got the goal. And then after that, it got a bit shaky. But again, different to Arsenal. United 2-2 showed the fight to get the job done, and it was a brilliant goal by Sesko. And I think that is something that has been really impressive. Also, his man management with players. Listen, he didn't start Cunha in the first 2 games, but Cunha gets a goal against Arsenal, gets the assist against City. Didn't start Sesko, got the goal against West Ham, which again we'll talk about, and the game against Fulham as well gets the goal. So I think that Fulham game was a real eye-opener to show Manchester United's attitude and fight towards the end of the game. The goal scored in the 94th minute. It shouldn't have never been like that. I think it should have been a game which United got the job done within the 90 minutes, and it should have been more comfortable than that. But ultimately, we got the job done, and that was a third successive defeat. Then we go to the Tottenham game, which was last week. I think that was a real impressive game, in my opinion. I thought Manchester United were the better side. I know we struggled at times, but the red card did help. We had obviously majority of possession, probably due to the red card. 10 shots on target to Spurs 1, and it was complete control. And I think that was the main element of it. It was control. And I think the big way that we've seen the majority of the game, large parts in that Fulham game, was control. Particularly in that City game, it was out of possession control. Against Spurs, dominant, controlling play. Against West Ham at times it was as well. And listen, that Tottenham game really was the one for me, because I knew we could beat City. I knew we could beat Arsenal on our day. We've done it before. It was the one against Fulham and Spurs, because Spurs have been a bogey side for United. And to get 2 goals, 2 great goals, clean sheet as well, was fantastic. So, yeah, I think that Tottenham game was really impressive. Everyone had a good game. Mainly got an assist. There should have been 4 or 5 goals in that game as well. So, yeah, I think that game was particularly impressive as well. But we can't take too much from it, because they did have a red card for about 65%. Or 65 minutes, of the game. So, you can't take that into account. But United were the dominant team. And I think I'll talk about the formation at the end. Then we have the game after that, which was obviously our last game against West Ham, which again was probably the most disappointing result in them all, because I think out of all the teams, we probably did think we would beat West Ham in the form that we were in. Again, we did struggle in that game at times. West Ham, it was a low block. United's kryptonite, have struggled in so many years to break down a low block. West Ham knew what they were going to do, sit in that 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2 shape and hit United on the counter-attack, and that's ultimately what they did, and that's where they got the goal from. The goal was just very poor defending from Luke Shaw, and great bit of play from Jared Bowen. I think Shaw, I don't know what he was doing. It was just, I wouldn't even say inexperienced, because he's been at the club for so many years and he's played football for many years. It was just, I thought, he let the ball bounce, which is the one mistake. Then he went to slide in. That was the second mistake. And then he's obviously out of position, which is the third mistake. I don't think, obviously, Kobbie Mainoo should track his man, but I think that mistake is more on Luke Shaw. In the fact that he struggled to get back. He couldn't get back. And I think that was a massive problem for him. So, yeah, that's that on Luke Shaw. Listen, the one thing I've also want to talk about is the formation. Yes, it's been a 4-2-3-1. But in possession, I've been very, very impressed. It's been a very clear 3-2-5. And that's with Dalot tucking in to make a back three with Maguire and Martinez. Shaw being very high. Mainoo, Bruno, Casemiro, Cunha, and Ahmad as a 5, and then a Burma through the middle. I think that's something that's been quite impressive. We saw it in every game. As we've seen in the West Ham game, the Arsenal game, the Fulham game, the Tottenham game, and the City game, in terms of the fact that possession shape is clear, and that's something that United have clearly worked on. I think it could be interesting if you have... I think Delot's done well there, if we're being honest. But imagine if you had Mazraoui. I think Mazraoui is a little bit better and more comfortable of playing in a back three. But listen, that's what we've learned during Micheal Carricks' time at Manchester United. I think we've learned a lot in such a short space of time. He's won the managerial Premier League Manager of the Month, which is quite impressive for him on the personal. I think we've seen an element of control. We've seen a bit of confidence back in the team. And ultimately, we're getting points. 13 out of a possible 15 points. 2 clean sheets. Dominant games by Manchester United, and I think 5 very tough games in itself, and we've seen that. City, again, very good team. Arsenal, again, challenging for the league and the Champions League, and in the Carabao Cup final. Fulham, we know they're a decent side. They play very good football under Marco Silva. Then you have Tottenham, who again has been United's bogey team. We haven't beaten them before. We beat them last week since 2021, I believe. And then you have West Ham, which again, a team on great... We probably played them at the worst time. They were on great form and they were causing problems to a lot of teams. So listen, I think that's what we've learned. And yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on Micheal Carrick's time at Manchester United. I think it has been quite impressive. There are a lot of positives to take. There are a few things we need to improve on, but again, what's it been, about a month since he's taken charge of Manchester United? Five undefeated results, 2 clean sheets. He's got the team playing with an element of confidence. We're controlling games, and again, if this keeps up, Carrick will probably be getting that permanent job. Let me know your thoughts.